June 18, 2014, Allerton, Bradford. A quiet housing estate. A night that seemed ordinary until it erupted into chaos. Behind the walls of Rosemary Gardens, hours of shouting escalated into something far more sinister. In a split second, a single knife strike would shatter a family, a community, and a life. Alexia Heckles, a mother trying to hold together the fragments of her turbulent life, became the center of a murder investigation after fatally stabbing her partner, 41-year-old Scott Dunn. Neighbors had heard arguments before, countless times, but that night, a familiar conflict turned deadly. This wasn't premeditated murder. It was the volatile collision of untreated mental illness, substance misuse, and an explosive relationship. Tonight, we take a journey through harrowing domestic violence, shocking betrayals, and the chilling consequences of unchecked rage. Case 1. Alexia Heckles, January 18, 2014, Allerton, Bradford. A cramped flat, silent after hours of arguing. Alexia Heckles, 35, mother of 4, struggling with addiction and diagnosed with emotionally unstable personality disorder, had already spiraled long before that fateful night. With 41 previous convictions, she had lived inside a cycle of conflict, volatility, and despair. Scott Dunn, 41, shared her flat and shared the chaos. That night, neighbors once again heard raised voices, furniture shifting, and the tension escalating. And then, a single devastating blow. Heckles seized a 19 cm kitchen knife and struck Dunn in the chest. The wound pierced his lung, reached his heart, ending his life almost instantly. In a horrifying moment, Heckles took his debit card, hiding it in her bra as her hands dripped with his blood. Screaming for help, she fled the scene. Police arrived moments later, confronted her hysterical and violent, but it was too late for Dunn. Bradford Crown Court would later hear testimony painting a portrait of a relationship defined by mutual destruction. Despite her claims of self-defense, Alexia Heckles was convicted of murder on July 17, 2014, sentenced to life with a minimum of 12 years. The impact on Dunn's family was devastating. A loyal father and caring man gone in a heartbeat. This case reminds us how domestic violence often escalates quietly, how untreated mental illness and substance abuse can turn argument into catastrophe, and how every warning sign ignored can have irreversible consequences. Case 2, Sarah Pearson and Ian Mitchell, September 11, 2022, Bradford. Fast forward 8 years. Another home, another life destroyed. 65-year-old Steven Kershaw returned to his home on Sheckcliffe Lane, unaware that the very people he trusted, his grandson's partner, Sarah Pearson, and her accomplice, Ian Mitchell, had already decided his life was worth nothing more than the money in his bank account. For months, the couple had bullied and coerced him, forcing him to fund their alcohol and drug habits. But that night, the abuse turned deadly. Mitchell beat him with a blunt object, while Pearson held him down as Mitchell smothered him with a pillow. When their work was done, they concealed his body, then went shopping, using his card to buy alcohol, clothes, and food. Police discovered Kershaw's body days later. CCTV, forensic evidence, and damning admissions from Pearson sealed their fate. On January 2024, Bradford Crown Court handed down life sentences. Pearson, 19 years minimum. Mitchell, 20. A family betrayed, a life stolen, and a stark reminder that sometimes the greatest danger comes from within your own home. Case 3, Carrie Joe Spencer, April 12, 2021, Whimsy, Bradford. Late-night parties can sometimes hide unexpected horrors. 27-year-old Carrie Joe Spencer, already with a history of violent offenses, attended a suburban gathering and quickly became the instigator of terror. Sean Fuller, a young father, found himself confronted by Spencer in the porch. Without provocation, she attacked him with a household ornament, leaving him dazed and bleeding. Then, in an act of shocking premeditation, Spencer reversed her car and struck him deliberately in the street. Fuller suffered catastrophic injuries, skull fractures, intracranial bleeding, a broken leg, and was left dependent on full-time care for life. CCTV, vehicle tracking, and witness statements led police straight to her. At Bradford Crown Court, the calculated nature of the attack left no room for sympathy. Spencer admitted grievous bodily harm. The court confirmed her use of a car as a weapon was deliberate. Though sentenced to 4 years, the impact on Fuller's family is permanent. A life transformed by a moment of impulsive, violent choice. Case 4, Jade Proctor, February 18, 2023, Tyrol, Bradford. A night that started with drinks ended in violence. 28-year-old Jade Proctor, struggling with a long-term alcohol addiction since her teens, had built a disturbing history of assaults. On this night, a male friend invited her to his flat, unaware that the evening would turn into a nightmare. As the night progressed, Proctor became loud and agitated. A simple warning to keep the noise down sparked something far darker. Minutes later, she grabbed a kitchen knife. 2 thrusts into the man's left thigh sent him to the ground, bleeding. A final strike to the back of his head cemented the brutality of the attack. Emergency services arrived to find Proctor confused and intoxicated. Yet the evidence, blood, witness accounts, her prior convictions, painted a clear picture of deliberate intent. At Bradford Crown Court, she was convicted of wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm and sentenced to 7 years in prison, alongside an indefinite restraining order. This case is a chilling reminder of how addiction-fueled violence can erupt in ordinary settings, leaving lasting scars on victims and communities alike. Case 5, Ellie Burns, April 29, 2019, Kirkgate Market, Bradford. Public spaces aren't always safe. 21-year-old Ellie Burns, battling substance misuse and emotional trauma, had already built a pattern of violent offending. On a day at Kirkgate Market, she entered under the influence of alcohol and cocaine. A confrontation with 2 women escalated into a horrifying attack. Punches, spitting, hair pulling, even tearing off a hijab in a racially aggravated assault. When officers intervened, Burns lashed out at them too, refusing to comply. Her repeated offenses while on bail and under suspended sentences painted a portrait of volatility and recklessness. Bradford Crown Court consolidated her charges, resulting in a 20-month jail term. For those present, the trauma lingered long after the incident, a stark illustration of how unpredictable aggression can shatter everyday life. Case 6, Martina Ferova, August 18, 2019, Kismet Gardens, Bradford. Sometimes the most vulnerable are the easiest targets. 38-year-old Martina Ferova, battling severe heroin and cocaine addiction, repeatedly targeted elderly residents in supported housing. Her burglaries ranged from sneaking through windows to posing as a cleaner, stealing items of sentimental value from frail and disabled victims. By the time police connected the dots, Ferova had left a trail of fear, stolen property, and broken trust. At Bradford Crown Court, she was sentenced to 2 years and 8 months, alongside an indefinite restraining order. Residents expressed relief at her conviction but remained shaken, a reminder that even quiet corridors can hide dangerous predators. Case 7, Helen Berridge and Amy Dickinson, March 25, 2025, K, West Yorkshire. Neglect can be as devastating as outright violence. At a small dementia care home, 62-year-old Helen Berridge and 24-year-old Amy Dickinson oversaw elderly residents, yet failed to protect them. Poor standards became normalized, leaving vulnerable patients mocked, roughly handled, and in some cases, harmed during personal care. Residents were deprived of hygiene and dignity, some even given alcohol to control them. When a whistleblower came forward, authorities investigated, uncovering widespread neglect. Both Berridge and Dickinson were held accountable at Bradford Crown Court, sentenced to 30 months each for willful neglect. Families expressed relief that justice had been served, and the case served as a sobering lesson on the consequences of complacency where care should be paramount. Case 8, Jade Anderson, April 21, 2023, Bradford Royal Infirmary. Finally, not all attacks occur in private homes. 49-year-old Jade Anderson, already known for persistent nuisance behavior, assaulted a paramedic and a police officer inside Bradford Royal Infirmary while they were performing their duties. Her actions endangered those sworn to protect the public and highlighted the pressures emergency personnel face daily. Following a criminal behavior order, Anderson's breach of restrictions, carrying a prohibited item at a public venue, led to further prosecution. This case reinforces that public safety depends on accountability and that repeated disruptive behavior, if unchecked, can escalate into real harm. From domestic violence to public assaults, substance-fueled rage to deliberate exploitation of the vulnerable, these cases expose a chilling reality. Danger often hides behind ordinary streets, familiar faces, and everyday routines. Every offender we've explored today left a trail of trauma and consequences, reminders that violence, neglect, and exploitation are never isolated events. Behind each story lies a lesson. Recognizing warning signs, addressing instability, and protecting the vulnerable is essential. If you want to uncover more hidden truths, chilling timelines, and cases that challenge our understanding of crime, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. Share your suggestions. Your tip might guide us to our next deep dive into Britain's darkest crimes.